Heather, let me tell you. It comes from my grandfather. He's the precisionist. Well, you never heard that story. We had a tailoring shop in the back of his home, did all of his friends' clothes. My father knows more about fabrics, pattern making, and cutting than anybody else in this business. He got it from his father, and he passed it on to me. In other words, I don't want to see another lengthwise grain line like the one that passed by me today. It's not up to standard, at least not mine. Precision, Heather. Precision and excellence. That's the only way to go. I'll talk to you later.
Well, I'm glad I'm not Heather.
Well, we've got to keep them on their toes, don't we? How are you doing?
Fine. Actually, though, I'm a little perplexed by something. Do you have a minute?
Sure. Close the door.
It's about Margo.
Margo?
How close are the two of you?
I'm clean. Haven't touched her in 3 years.
That's not what I meant, Ridge. How well do you know her? I mean, really know her as a person?
She's a friend. A good friend. A very talented lady, if you're talking professionally.
No, I'm not.
Why the interest in Margo?
She has a child, right?
Right.
Well, what do you know about the father?
Nothing. As far as I know, no one else does either. She's pretty much got that all bottled up. What's this all about?
My father proposed to her.
Bill and Margo?
He's always been really attracted to her.
I had no idea it was that involved, though.
Well, frankly, I didn't either, which is why I'm here. Not that I need a reason to come by and see you.
Has she accepted yet?
Well, evidently they're having dinner tonight, and she's going to give him her answer.
Well, I hope she knows what she's doing.
Well, I hope my father knows what he's doing.
Oh, don't worry about your dad. I'm sure he's got things well in control.
I don't know about that. Ridge, I'm afraid that there might be more to Margo Lindley than really meets the eye.
What are you doing here? It's too risky. Besides, why aren't you with Kristen?
I was.
You could have spent the whole day with her. You should have.
Look, where's her husband?
At my apartment babysitting.
No kidding. Sounds like you're making real progress.
Nick, I'm not going to make any progress until you start making some progress with Kristen.
I'm doing my best.
So what are the results?
It's not gonna happen overnight, Margo. If it happens at all.
Tell me about the visit.
Well, I went to their apartment. She was there, getting ready for work. God, I long for that woman.
How did she react when she saw you?
She wasn't ecstatic, but she let me in.
You know she's just protecting herself. She doesn't want you to know she's vulnerable.
I know that, Margo.
She loves you, Mick.
Look, there's no question that there's feelings, deep feelings. Both of us have them. I knew that the minute I walked in. She did too. I know it. But feelings, they don't cut it. Actions cut it, and we're both short on those.
So why didn't you take more time with her? I mean, you had the whole apartment to yourself. Why did you leave?
You don't get it, do you? I'm not out to seduce this woman. It's gone way past that.
You have to act to make it happen.
I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm just not sure about Kristen's marriage. How viable it is, how committed she is to it. Sometimes I get the feeling that she's a lot more involved with this guy than she admits. But if that's the case, why doesn't she admit it?
Mick, the bottom line is that I have a deadline. It's that simple. And the deadline's tonight. Now, do I have a chance with Clarke or don't I? You're the only one with that answer.
It's okay, buddy. Keep you warm. We're almost to the hospital. Can't you find a faster way, please? This kid is very sick.
Well, what do you have against Margo?
Don't have anything against her. It's just the way all of this has come about so suddenly.
You sure you're not just a little bit jealous?
Jealous? Why, because I'd like to be the one marrying my father?
You know what I'm suggesting. Another woman comes into your dad's life, that's got to be hard to take, especially when she's young enough to be your sister.
Well, I can honestly tell you that I don't feel jealous. I really would love my father to remarry. But sometimes I have to question his judgment.
Well, I don't think you have to this time. If he's lucky enough to land Margo, he's going to have himself one hell of a lady. Maybe you could use a few pointers on her personal preferences.
Ridge, I don't like that kind of talk, and you know it. And stay away from my father.
I don't want to marry him. Seriously. Margo is a good person.
Well, that's because you know her. But the problem is, I don't.
Well, why don't you do something about that?
Well, that's a good idea. I wonder if she's in her office right now.
I imagine so.
Where are you going? You didn't even answer my question.
Look, I told you before, your relationship with Garrison has nothing to do with Kristen and me.
It has everything to do with Kristen and you because Clarke is not available to me as long as that woman's in his life.
Well, she married him, Margo. She might be there a very long time.
If the marriage was strong, I would agree with you, but it's not. It's a joke.
I didn't see Kristen laughing.
Oh, Nick, if this is your way of telling me that you're not going to pursue her, I just wish you'd come out and say it.
What I'm trying to tell you is that I'm not gonna blow Kristen's world apart just because you're in a hurry. I'm not gonna do it. I'm sorry. If it's not going to work for Clarke and her, it is going to work for Kristen and me. But only time will tell that. Only time. Look, I'll call you later. I gotta get out of here before somebody sees me.
You wanted to see me?
Yeah, Chris, come on in.
So what's up?
Well, we haven't been crossing paths much lately. How have you been?
I'm okay.
Any particular reason you're so late for work?
Did I miss something?
No.
Why the concern? I'm getting my workout.
You don't have to get defensive. Tell you the truth, I'm just worried about you.
Why?
A guy can't be worried about his own sister?
Well, yeah, sure. If there's a reason. What's your reason, Ridge?
So, you and Clarke took the morning off?
Not Clarke. He's been here since 8 o'clock.
Where?
In his office, I would imagine.
No, Chris, he's not down there. I checked. He hasn't come in yet today.
Come in. Caroline,
Hello, Margo.
are you here to see Kristen?
No, I'm here to see you.
Me? Why?
Why? My father proposed to you. And I understand that you're going to be giving him your answer tonight. Don't you think that you and I might have something to talk about?
Well, I'm sorry. That really wasn't very sensitive of me, was it? What would you like to talk about?
Well, you know, Margo, I don't feel like I really know you that well.
That's strange. I don't feel that way about you. Especially after everything Ridge and Thorne have said about you.
Well, good. Then we don't have to focus on me.
Fine. Are there any questions you'd like to ask me in particular?
Yes. Are you going to marry my father?
Well, I really think I should talk to your father about that first, don't you?
Fair enough. Margo, would you mind then just telling me a little bit about your relationship with my father? You know, I had no idea that the two of you were this close.
Well, we've been close for quite a while.
But don't you think this marriage proposal was a little out of the blue?
No, not really.
Well, then you were expecting it.
No, I wouldn't say that.
You didn't think it was out of the blue, and yet you weren't expecting it either?
Well, let's just say that I wasn't surprised. Your father is a very impulsive, very romantic man, you know.
Then you would agree that this is an impulsive act on his part.
I think that's a fair statement.
Prompted by what, do you think?
Bill's very lonely. I think he's ready for commitment.
And are you?
Caroline, once again, I have to plead the fifth until I speak to your father.
You won't even give me a hint?
Nope.
So you don't want to discuss it at all?
No, I don't. I really don't want to talk about it. I don't think that's fair to Bill.
It sounds to me like you haven't made up your mind yet.
Well, maybe I haven't. You know, it is the most important decision in my life, Caroline.
Which is why I would think you would want to discuss it with someone.
Well, I guess I'm just not like that.
Margo, I'm not trying to be intrusive, but naturally I'm protective of my father. You can understand that.
Yes, I can.
Then you can also understand why I want to know how you feel about him.
I feel very deeply about your father. He's a wonderful man. And he's a very close friend.
Do you feel the same way about my father as you once felt about Ridge?
What kind of question is that? This has nothing to do with Ridge.
You once told me that you were in love with Ridge, Margo. Now, do you have those same kinds of feelings for my father?
Obviously, your father is very different from Ridge. You know, this conversation is really bordering on the bizarre, and if it doesn't change, it's going to be over very soon.
All right, Margo, let me just be direct. Are you in love with my father? Because I don't think that you are. I think there's another man in your life. And we both know who that is, don't we?
Clarke hasn't come in to work yet?
No. That's where he said he was going this morning before he left to work?
Maybe he didn't say that.
That's not what you told me before.
Maybe he had some errands to run. I don't know.
But where do you suppose he is?
I have no idea.
Do you have any suspicions?
Suspicions?
Yes.
What are you alluding to, Ridge?
Clarke hasn't been getting his work done recently.
That doesn't surprise me.
You know why?
It isn't because he's having an affair, if that's what you're worried about.
You seem pretty confident of that.
I am.
Kristen, when I was in your office earlier, a call came in. I think it was Clarke.
Well, what did he want?
I don't know. He hung up when he heard my voice.
Or maybe you got disconnected.
Maybe. But there was something strange about the call, though.
What?
There was a baby crying in the background. You know anything about that?
You hurried up. This kid is getting hotter by the second.
Hospital's just around the corner.
Thank God. It's okay, little fella. Be this soon. You hang in there. You hang in there.
A baby was crying.
Yes, I heard it very clearly.
You're sure it was a baby?
No doubt in my mind, Chris. Now, where was Clarke calling from, and why would there be a baby in the background? It means something to you. I can tell by your expression.
Maybe he called from a payphone with a baby nearby.
Why are you making excuses for him?
I'm not making excuses for him.
Look, Chris, I know how you feel about this marriage, and how it galls you that the rest of us were against it. The last thing you'd ever want to do is to admit to any of us that you made a mistake. Look, just forget about that and listen to this. Is it worth it? To keep your pride intact while this guy walks all over you, because that's what he's doing. Walking all over you. Don't let him, Chris. There's a man out there who's much better for you than Garrison.
It's true, isn't it? There is another man in your life.
Why in the world would you say that?
Because you have a baby, Margo. A baby whose father you insist upon keeping a secret.
For obvious reasons.
Yes. You're in love with him.
Oh, I don't have to answer to you.
Well, you just did. Because if you were not in love with him, you would have denied it right away.
You're putting words in my mouth, and I don't like it.
I don't want you taking advantage of my father, Margo. He's very vulnerable to you. Now, please, don't toy with his emotions.
I'm not toying with his emotions. Now, the discussion is ended.
You won't tell me whether or not you love him. You won't say whether or not you're going to marry him. You're being very vague, Margo. I don't understand why. Unless you're just intending to string him along until the father of your baby becomes more available. Is that what you have in mind?
Hi, Bill, it's Margo.
Well, this is a surprise.
Yes. The reason I'm calling, I really don't have to wait till tonight to give you the answer to your proposal.
You don't?
No. I'd be honored to be your wife. I'd love to marry you, Bill.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
May I help you?
Yes. This baby is sick. He needs a doctor.
What's the problem?
He's burning up, feeling.
All right, you relax and we'll get him admitted.
Relax. This baby is sick. He might be dying.
Are you the father?
Am I the father?
Are you a parent or guardian?
What the hell difference does it make? It's this baby that is sick, not me. Now, will you please find a doctor, or do I have to find one myself?
We need permission from a parent or guardian. Are you or aren't you related to the baby?
Yes. Yes. I'm the baby's father. I'm his father. Now, will you please find someone to help him?
You wait here. I'll get the doctor.
It's okay, Mark. It'll be okay.